Chapter 1. The Twins. Kyle Dylan Parker was what most people would call enthralling. He was at least 6'3", good-looking, and extraordinarily sexy. With his captivating soft hazel eyes, long dark eyelashes, dark blonde hair cropped very short, and heart-stopping smile, Kyle looked like the Bellinger in the movies. His cool and calm personality only added to his sex appeal. Kyle came from old money but was also a very successful businessman. Although he had enough money to last him at least 3 lifetimes, he had to learn the hard way that money couldn't buy everything. Ken Dylan Parker, Kyle's twin brother, was dying of cancer. To say Kyle was devastated would be an understatement. After all, they had been together the whole of their 29 years on Earth. Kyle sometimes cried himself to sleep because he didn't know how he was going to survive without his twin. Orphaned since infancy, they only had each other. As fraternal twins born 15 hours apart, Kyle never missed an opportunity to remind his brother that he saw the world before he did. Whilst Kyle was tall and muscular, Ken was rather smallish. Kyle had always been Ken's protector, always ensuring that Ken was okay and didn't need anything. Thanks to cancer, however, for the first time in his life he couldn't provide Ken with what he needed most: healing. Kyle wished he could do something to save his brother's life, but he couldn't. What bothered him even more was the fact that Ken had stopped taking his chemotherapy treatment. Saying it rather drained him. Kyle was even more scared, because he felt that was the only chance his brother had of living a longer life. But Ken was as stubborn as a mule. He wouldn't budge on his decision. In as much as Kyle would have wanted his brother to go through with the treatment, he knew he couldn't force him. All he could do was pray for a miracle every day. Kyle made sure he spent at least 2 days out of every week with Ken, no matter how busy he was. On one of such visits, Kyle barged into Ken's room to find him watching porn. It wasn't just any porn, it was gay. Kyle knew his brother was gay, so was not shocked to see that Kyle himself had fucked a guy or two during his college days, so his brother watching gay porn was nothing strange to him. What did surprise him though was the way Ken was engrossed in what he was watching. Even the open bag of Doritos in his lap seemed to be forgotten. "Dude, landed too early to be watching this shit," Kyle drawled with a chuckle. Ken laughed. "Fuck, and is there a particular time for porn? Come on, check out this guy. He is beautiful, and he..." Kyle pointed to a handsome dark-haired boy on the screen, who, at that particular margin, was being sucked off by a blonde twink. "Look at that face, to honest key. Isn't he delicious?" Ken asked, staring at the screen. Kyle chuckled. "Sure he is, but it doesn't look like he's enjoying what is being done to him. Is the guy blowing him that bad?" Kyle asked in an amused voice as he watched the 2 men on the screen. Ken shook his head. He always looks bored in his videos. He still has a lot of fans though, thanks to his good looks. "I have all his videos," Ken murmured, turning to give his brother a playful lewd smile. "Really?" Kyle sounded even more amused. "Yep, you see, most of these guys are actually straight." Ken turned back to the screen. "They just want to make a quick buck. I once read an article on this guy. He never hooks up with any man no matter the amount of money offered. Only, and according to the article, he gets a lot of propositions. He's not gay. Obviously needs the cash, that's all. So why not hetero porn then?" "Beats me," Ken shrugged. I bet with the right guy, he would show some interest." "Does he bottom in his videos?" "He's not a bottom. He never bottoms. He doesn't kiss to dozens him, doesn't allow rimming. He has a whole lot of rules. It's obvious he's not gay." Kyle smiled. "Sure. I bet with an experienced person and the right kind of stimulation, your gorgeous twink over there would forget all about his silly rules and play ball. Wouldn't mind fatting that. He's hot, and I really would love to prove you wrong." "What's his name?" Ken laughed. "You're crazy, you know that. When was the last time you were with guy?" "That was back in college. You're now a ladies' man. Stick to that." Ken popped some Doritos into her mouth. "Are you saying I can't hit that?" Kyle asked, dipping his hand into the hag of. "Tin not say. 'Cause teen rock his world make nen fort hand me." Kyle was staring intently at the hand face on the sieve. "What's his name, Ken?" "Ron Hunt. You really want to nail that?" Ken asked, turning to look at his brother. "Trust me, I don't think you're gonna get him. He's been known to turn down some pretty shitload of cash. He only wants to get paid for the videos he makes. A porn star with a conscience." "Interesting." Kyle snorted. Just principled, I guess. I will fuck him, Ken. And I'm going to make him scream for more. Kyle sounded dangerous. Wanna bet, little brother? Ken laughed. Hell yeah. What's it going to be? Ken looked excited. I get him. You go back to chemo. Kyle looked dead serious. Ken groaned. Kyle, it's a bet. Ken, I thought you were confident I wasn't going to get your guy. What are you scared of? Kyle drawled. And if you don't get him, hit me, brother, Kyle said, crossing his arms over his chest. And make it good. You find a nice lady and settle down within 2 months. Ken deadpanned. Are you shitting me? Come on, dude. How the fuck can I possibly get hitched in 2 months? Kyle looked incredulous. It's a bet, bro. Scared. Ken threw Kyle's words back. Kyle had never gone out with anyone for more than a week, and Ken needed to know his brother was settled or getting there before he left the world. Kyle had his friends who were really good guys, but he needed a companion. Ken felt it was his chance to ensure that at least Kyle made an effort. After all, there was no way his brother would get to fuck the great Ron Hunt. Kyle didn't know what he was up against, and that greatly pleased Ken. Ken ... double quotes. Kyle sat beside his brother on the bed, wondering why he had suddenly gone quiet. You know I hate Chien. Kieran didn't plan on letting his brother know her real worries. *UB though I decked want to fuse you. I can't. Kyle added in a whisper. That mothers were each host in his thoughts. Good lark with getting the guy then. Ken finally sighed. Cause I'll give anything to see this stunning creature lose himself in passion. But wait, even if you make that happen, I can't get to see it. You Jose either way. Sorry. He gave a naughty grin as he filled his mouth with Doritos. What if you can? Kyle asked quietly. What are you saying, Key? Ken turned his hazel eye, so much like Kyle's, on him. What if you can watch him lose it on tape? Kyle repeated, watching Ron Hunt spill his cum all over the other guy's face on the screen. Damn, that's a lot of cum, he muttered. What are you going to do? Record an encounter that you might not even get? Ken scoffed. TSC got a better idea. You said he'll only do it for the camera, right? Well, say hello to your new porn star. Dick Schlong, Kyle said, pointing both thumbs at himself. Ken burst into uncontrollable laughter. He laughed until tears ran down his face. He'd been jokingly calling Kyle Dick Schlong since they were kids because of his scarily huge manhood. Ken always teased his brother that if he were a porn star, his acting name would be Dick Schlong. It looked like his brother was finally going to put that name to use. So, do we have a bet? Kyle couldn't help but join in Ken's contagious laughter. He loved it when Ken laughed like that. Hell, yeah, Ken said, trying to bring his laughter under control. You're on, brother. Next chapter. Chapter 2. The Dilemma. Aaron Hunter got as far as the director's door and then turned back. Shit, he swore under his breath. Aaron had never been that unsure of anything in his life as he was at that very moment. He always thought things through before he took any action. But for the first time in his life, he was confused because he knew that what he was about to do was wrong, and yet he thought it was for the best. Aaron Hunter was a 21-year-old final-year college student. He was drop-dead gorgeous. With his dark hair, flawless skin, dreamy gray eyes, and a height of almost 6 feet, he was simply striking. Like many other college students, Aaron had to work to see himself through college. But unlike most college students, the job Aaron decided to do was to act porn. He had been acting porn since he was 19 years old. All Aaron was interested in was making enough money to take care of his sick mother and to pay for his college tuition. When he was approached by Max Vigio to act porn, he had automatically refused. But after numerous entreaties and cajoling from the famous porn movie director, Aaron had relented. After all, it paid well and he needed the money. On his very first day on set, however, Aaron had had the shock of his life. He knew MV Productions produced all kinds of porn movies. What he hadn't known was that he was to act gay porn. He had been so angry he had turned to leave. Max had, however, pulled Aaron into his office and again managed to convince him to rethink his decision. Listen, kid, this is just acting. Yes, but I'm not gay. No one gets near my arse. I can't. Yes, you can. You don't have to give up your arse. A hole is a hole. You go in, come out, make money, and everyone is happy, Max had said, making it sound so easy. After a lot of talks and an increase in his emolument, Aaron had agreed to do it. But he had laid down his own rules. Aaron Hunter didn't bottom, didn't kiss, didn't rim, didn't get rimmed. That was so gay. And never barebacked. He was very particular about his no condom no fucking rule. Finally, he had opted to go by the name Ron Hunt, which was sort of a short form of his real name, Aaron Hunter. So when Aaron was called into the office of Max, the jail one fine morning and told he had to bottom and fuck without a condom for an obscenely huge amount of money, his immediate answer had been, "Go fuck yourself, Max. Come on, Ron. Go and think about this, okay? There's nothing to think about." Aaron had bellowed and stormed out of Max's office. That night Aaron couldn't sleep. He had tossed and turned the whole night thinking about the offer. His plan was to quit acting. Immediately he made enough money to pay the remaining college fees and find a good job. He hoped that with a good salary and no college fees to pay, he and his mom would be okay. Peggy Hunter was all Aaron cared about in the world. He didn't have a girlfriend or any close friends. He spent all his time either studying, sitting with his mom, or on set. Of course, he dated once in a while, but those relationships were nothing long-term. He did get a lot of propositions from all kinds of people. The rich, the not-so-rich, senators, clergies, psychos, and lots of guys who claimed to be in love with him. He, however, always made it a point to politely turn them down. After all, he wasn't gay. Merely acting. And Aaron Hunter was no prostitute or an escort. Max's outrageous offer went against all of Aaron's principles. But with that kind of money, he knew he could quit the acting business. Now the question was whether he was ready to give up his arse and have sex for the very first time in his life without a condom. Max did shout after him when he was storming out of his office that the guy he was to fuck was clean. But that still didn't make it right. By morning, Aaron's mind was made up. He was going to take Max's offer. With that kind of money, he could clear all the bills on his mother's dialysis treatment, pay all his outstanding college fees, pay their rent for the next 2 years, and take care of both his and his mother's upkeep till he got a good job. Simply put, with that money, he could live. It was time to get out of the porn business. He'd called Max to accept the offer. Now standing behind Max's door, on the day set for the shooting of his virgin video, as he sarcastically called it in his head, Aaron was torn between going back in to change his decision and going to the set to get ready as he had been told to. He had almost backed out when the slime ball had added as an afterthought. "Oh, and Ron, we know you never rim and you don't allow it, but you're going to have to allow yourself to get rimmed this time. Don't worry, you'll enjoy it. Trust me on that," he had said with a devilish grin. The jerk. Shit, Aaron swore, running his fingers through his hair in frustration. Might as well get it over and done with. Hell, if he was going to bareback and bottom, then he might as well get a rim job. It wouldn't make what he was about to do any worse, would it? All that mattered now was the money and what it could do for him. With a sigh, Aaron headed for the set and his final showdown. Chapter 3. Getting Acquainted. Kyle sat on the couch in Max Vigo's office, drinking a bottle of water. It was the day he got to fuck Ron Hunt. He had paid a lot of money to accomplish that and even thrown in a clause of his own, barebacking and rimming. Kyle made it a point to always use condoms, but for some reason, he couldn't think of having Ron any other way. He wanted flesh on flesh. Of course, he had given that bastard of a producer, a director, his medicals showing how clean he was. And he had been given a copy of Ron Hunt's medicals too. He was looking forward to rimming the hell out of the sexy twink. If he was going to blow Ron's mind, make him dissolve into a puddle from exquisite pleasure, he definitely had to give Ron the tongue fucking of his life. Kyle couldn't wait to have that gorgeous body beneath him dominated out of his mind with the why. Max had told him that Ron didn't allow kissing and didn't rim others. Kyle had chuckled at that piece of information. Ron didn't have to worry about that. Kyle didn't mind not kissing and didn't expect to be rimmed either. Not only did he want to make Ken happy, but just like Ken, he also wanted to watch Ron Hunt lose it. He had seen all the videos Ken had given him of Ron, and the more he watched him on screen, the more Kyle wanted to watch him explode with pleasure. Kyle couldn't help but notice that Ron hardly made a sound in his videos. He planned on changing that. He couldn't wait to see the look on Ken's face in 2 weeks when he presented him with his dream porn video on their birthday. What his brother wanted, his brother got. The good thing was that he was also going to get what he wanted. His brother back in chemotherapy. A deal was a deal. The door opened and Max entered, followed by Aaron. Kyle's breath hitched in his throat. He thought Ron was even more handsome in person. "Ron, meet Dylan," Max said, looking from Kyle to Aaron. Kyle had decided to use his middle name for the project. "He's the one you single quotes Ray ... or ... going to be working with today. I'll leave you two to get acquainted. I'll let you know when we're ready for you." With that, Max beat a hasty retreat. Max Figgio had never made as much money on a video as he had made on the video they were about to shoot, and he didn't even need to sell the video to make that money. All he had to do was hand over the film to Dylan after the shoot. Max was a very happy man. Kyle stood up and moved closer to Aaron, who finally got a good look at the sex god who was going to fuck him. Aaron gasped. The man was mouth-wateringly gorgeous. "How tall are you?" Aaron asked, staring up into the most captivating eyes he'd ever seen. 6'3", Kyle answered with a chuckle. "And how big are you?" Aaron asked, still staring at Kyle with gray eyes so dreamy. Kyle blinked so he wouldn't get lost in them. "I we ... Not that. How big is your cock?" 7. Aaron kept his eyes locked on Kyle's. If he was going to get fucked, he needed to know what he was getting. The surprise in Kyle's eyes was clear for Aaron to see. "I've never bothered to measure. Want to do the honors?" Kyle drawled, and then gasped when Aaron's hands promptly went to the zipper of his jeans. Aaron smirked. "You're new at this, aren't you?" He unzipped Kyle, his eyes still locked on Kyle's. It was only when his hand delved into Kyle's boxer briefs and touched his semi-hard cock that Aaron tore his eyes from Kyle's and looked down at the long, thick cock in his hand. For the second time since he saw Kyle, Aaron gasped. "God, you are huge." Aaron stared at Kyle's cock. I don't think I can ... I single quotes for never done this." Aaron was rambling. "You will be fine," Kyle said quietly. "Easy for you to say, dude. I've never caught him before. This monster will split me into two." Aaron looked very worried. "Shit," he whispered. What had he gotten himself into? The asshole who paid that shitload of money to see this is a sadist, a pervert, a jerk. "Hey, I won't hurt you much, I promise," Kyle said softly, enjoying the stroking of Aaron's hand. Kyle didn't think Aaron even noticed what he was doing. No way was he going to admit that he was the asshole the troubled porn star was referring to. Aaron's eyes looked glazed. He seemed to be far away, worried but obviously enjoying stroking the rapidly hardening flesh in his palm. "Hey, Ron." At Kyle's mention of his name, Aaron quickly came to himself and stopped stroking the now hard cock. He licked suddenly dry lips and then started to force the pulsing manhood back into Kyle's boxes. It was difficult, but Aaron eventually succeeded in doing just that and zipped Kyle up. "Sorry, I'm Ron." Aaron extended his hand. "And I'm Dylan." Kyle took Aaron's hand in a firm handshake. "So, we know the rules. I don't do kissing and I don't rim," Aaron said in a hard voice. The clause said he had to bareback and bottom. It didn't say anything about kissing and him having to rim someone, so he sure as hell wasn't going to do that. "I don't care about the kissing, but I'm looking forward to rimming the fuck out of that bubble butt," Kyle drawled, making Aaron flush. "I don't have a bubble butt." He CROAKD ... It's still sexy. Kyle HUSKD ... Knock yourself out, dude. It's your ... The door opened then, and a young lady stuck her head in to tell them Max was ready for them. Aaron looked at Kyle. "Let's do this. But hey, go easy on me, will you?" Kyle stared quietly at Aaron for some seconds and then gave a brilliant smile. "Okay, shit. What have I gotten myself into?" Aaron muttered as he turned around to go out of the office. Chapter 4. Foreplay. It was a day ... and a fuck neither Kyle nor Aaron was ever going to forget for as long as Fly lived. It was explosive. After a quick makeup by a makeup artist, they entered the room in which the video was to be shot. Max told Carl and Aaron to get ready to start, as Carl had opted out of the initial interview that usually preceded most porn videos. Max was however shaking with excitement, as were the two cameramen in the room. They were all eager to see the action start. They couldn't wait to see Ron Hunt get fucked. There were 3 main cameras set up in the stylishly elegant room. 2 were on the sides of the bed and 1 was facing the foot of the bed. The cameras, which were obviously very high-powered, had been mounted on the walls and were being controlled by a computer device sitting on a table in front of one of the 2 guys in the room with Max. Carl and Aaron stood in front of the couch in the room, staring at each other. The wary look in Aaron's eyes almost made Carl groan. "Hey, relax," Carl murmured. Lots of people showed panic at the first sight of his cock, but Aaron looked terrified. Was it just the size of his cock, or something else? Carl wondered. Yes, Aaron was terrified of allowing Carl's mammoth cock inside his virgin arse. But what Carl didn't know was that a whole lot of other emotions were going through Aaron at that very moment. He felt sorry for himself, felt sorry that he had to bend his principles in order to get out of that whole porn business. And as if that wasn't enough, Aaron couldn't help but feel a strong attraction towards Carl, and that scared the shit out of him. He didn't understand or know where that was coming from. He wasn't gay. He'd never been attracted to any man. Fucking on screen was really not a big deal. You got stimulated, got a hard-on, fuck whatever hole you were presented with, and that was it. More like wham bam thank you ma'am, with cum shots. But what he was feeling for the hot hunk standing in front of him was something totally different. Neither Carl nor any other occupant of the room was aware of the irrepressible turmoil going on inside Aaron. Aaron was grateful for that, because he knew he wasn't very far from a breakdown. He knew that the least pity or care shown towards him right then was bound to break the dam. Aaron was as tense as a bowstring. When they heard Max shout action, they started embracing each other. They had already taken off their shoes, so Carl took off Aaron's t-shirt and then allowed Aaron to unbutton his shirt. Their jeans came off next, leaving both men in their boxer briefs. Evel began to walk Aaron backward in the direction of the comfortable-looking bed till the back of Aaron's legs hit the bed. Then he lowered his lips to the sensitive point at the base of Aaron's neck and sucked at the skin. Carl gave a slight smile at Aaron's sharp intake of breath. Aaron had no idea what he was in for. Carl Parker had just one goal in mind, and that was to pleasure Ron Hunt until he lost control and completely unravel. He hadn't paid all that money to seek just his own pleasure. His main goal was to grant Ken his wish. And to do that, he had to rock Ron Hunt's world. Carl planned on getting his money's worth. Ken was in for a surprise. But Carl also knew that Ken's boyfriend, Steven, was definitely going to rip him a new one when he got to know what he'd done. His brother's soldier boyfriend who was out of town would absolutely frown upon Carl going to such lengths to win a bet. Well, Steven could go to hell, Carl thought. He was doing it for his brother. That was going to be his brother's birthday present. With a deep breath, Carl closed his mind to every other thing and focused fully on the sexy man in his arms. Aaron knew he had to take over as he usually did in his videos, but for some reason, he couldn't. There was something about Carl that made Aaron want to give up control. He tingled all over, and Carl's mouth on his neck felt divine. Aaron gasped when he felt fingers twist his nipple, then moaned uncontrollably when Carl leaned down and tucked the other nipple into his hat mouth. His eyes closed in bliss. Max and the cameramen looked shocked at what was unfolding before their eyes. Ron Hunt looked totally aroused. If the wet spot on his boxer briefs and the bulge behind it was anything to go by, he was already rock hard and leaking. The Ron they knew had to be coaxed and played with for a while before that happened. Aaron reached for Carl's boxer-overed cock and shuddered again at the size. "I have to get acquainted with this monster," he murmured as he sat on the edge of the bed and faced the huge bulge. "I thought you already did," Carl drawled. Aaron chuckled and reached into Carl's obscenely tinted boxer briefs and drew out his stiff mammoth dick. The reluctant gasp that went up from those gathered inside the room made Carl smile. Aaron wrapped a hand around Carl's cock, shaking his head slightly when he realized his fingers couldn't go around his cock. He gave it several strokes with one hand, whilst the other cupped and fondled his heavy balls. When he saw a drop of pre-cum leak out of the big flared mushroom head, he leaned forward and swiped it clean with his hot wet tongue. smirking at Carl's sharp intake of breath. Then taking a deep breath, Aaron closed his mouth over the head and began to suck hard. "Oh Jesus, that feels so good," Carl muttered as he threw his head back in pleasure. He reached down to cradle Aaron's head in his hands as the sexy porn star swirled his tongue over the crown of his sensitive cock. His heavy-lidded gaze followed Aaron as he moved down to lap at the whole length of his shaft, getting it really wet. Carl's eyes widened when, with amazingly practiced skill, Aaron slowly swallowed his length almost to the root. "Holy fuck," Carl bellowed. No one had ever been able to take him like that. Ron didn't even gag. "Shit." Chapter 5. The Breach. Carl got the blowjob of his life. Aaron sucked him off like the porn star that he was. Don't let anyone say Ron Hunt couldn't suck rock. He sucked Carl as if his life depended on it. He moved real slowly and sensuously on the cock in his mouth, sliding up and down, oating his tongue in fast sweeps over the head and the underside, and stroking the part that got exposed. "Damn, this is good," Carl groaned as Aaron bent to suck on his balls. "I love your mouth circle, Ron." Asian looked up at Carl, sending him a slow wink as he took his hard rock back into his throat, humming deep in his throat. Right then, there was nothing he wanted more than to drink every drop of calm from the throbbing cock filling his mouth. He rolled Carl's halls in his finger and hummed even harder. The intense sensation that dashed through Carl's spine made him worry out. Then he took control of the held Aaron ahead exactly where he wanted it and started to thrust. 10:20. That hat, Most, Washington. There is more chapter, but LAM still waiting for updates.